Alright, today we're going to talk about ankle mobility for the Army Combat Fitness Test. Specifically, we're going to talk about ankle dorsiflexion, which is the ability to pull your ankle, your toes, up towards your shin. So you need good ankle dorsiflexion for the running events and especially the deadlift in the Army Combat Fitness Test. Research has shown that poor ankle dorsiflexion can predispose you to certain injuries like patellofemoral pain syndrome at the knee and plantar fasciitis. So I'm going to show you first just how to assess whether you have good enough ankle dorsiflexion, and then how to work on your mobility if you're lacking. So the easiest way to check would be to do what we call the knee to the wall test. Normal ankle dorsiflexion is about 20 degrees. So if you have a 90-degree angle, you want to be able to come back up about 20 degrees. So to do this test, all you're going to do is you're going to have a wall, be in bare feet or in socks. And one way you could do it is just compare. If you have a stiff ankle, if you've had previous injuries and you have stiffness, you could compare how far from the wall you can bring your knee to the wall without your heel coming up off the wall. Okay, so you can just gradually move back until your heel starts to come up off the wall. And then you would measure that and compare it to the other side and see if there's a big difference. 5 inches is considered normal, and that is pretty much regardless of your size. So you can just put down a ruler, or the palm of your hand, or the width of your hand is pretty close to 5 inches for a lot of people, and it's going to get you close. So you can just put your hand down in between the wall and your foot, and then you're going to stand up, and you're just going to try to drive your knee forward until you touch the wall. And if your heel's coming up, it means you're tight. You're tight at your ankle. Alternately, you can do with the ruler, bring your toes back to about 5 inches, and then drive your knee forward. And so for me, that's probably about the max I've got. My heel starts to want to come up right about there. So if you're tight in that test, if you don't have good enough ankle mobility in that test, it's coming from one of two things. It's either you're tight through the soft tissue, through your calf muscles, or you have a restriction in the joint itself. So if it's tight muscles, you'll probably just feel that. You'll just feel a real strong stretch back in here. And we can work on that by stretching and foam rolling. So a foam roller is just a little roll like this that you can get pretty cheap, and you're just gonna roll out your calf muscles. You don't have to spend a ton of time doing it, like a minute or two. And I usually recommend people do it before they stretch, just to kind of get things prepared, loosened up a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to do a couple stretches. You want to stretch both the soleus and the gastrocnemius, so those are your two calf muscles. The soleus is shorter and only crosses the ankle. The gastrocnemius crosses the knee as well. So I'm stretching my back leg right now. I'm stretching the gastrocnemius, and you're going to hold for about 30 seconds or longer. It shouldn't be painful. Okay, and then if I want to stretch my soleus, I'm just going to come forward a little bit and just drop my knee down into I'm going to bend my knee. So I'm still stretching this leg, but I'm stretching a different muscle. Same thing, you're holding for 30 seconds. And you can do both of those every day, multiple times a day, to really work on that. It'll probably take a few weeks of consistent stretching and foam rolling to really make a big difference. It's not something that happens, in one day. It's important you consistently do it. Now, if you're feeling like you're getting a lot of pinching at the front of your ankle when you squat or deadlift or do this test, you probably have more of a mobility issue in the joint itself. So I'm going to show you a couple things you can do for that. So you can just do a little mobilization in a kneeling position like this, just kind of working into it. If you just feel like every time you do this you get a pinch, you can use a band or a strap to do what's called a mobilization with movement. So you can take a strap or a band and attach it to something that won't move. And then the other end is going to come around your ankle, kind of at the crease, so the bottom of your tibia and fibula. I'm just going to hold it for the demonstration and kind of kneel on it with my other knee. And you're just going to kind of drive your knee forward into it. And that little bit of tension on the band is going to help create a posterior gliding force so that you're not getting that pinching. Okay. So you can just do like 10 to 15 reps and you can hold it for a few seconds each time. You could also have a partner hold their hands in that same position and kind of help you if you struggle to use a band or a strap. Okay? After you do that, it's always a good idea to stretch as well to maintain the motion that you've gained. So you're going to do your 2 calf stretches as well. Your gas drop and your soleus stretch. Alright, that's all I have for ankle dorsiflexion. Stay posted for some of the other videos in regards to mobility, specifically for the Army Combat Fitness Test.